You're watching KSL Sports Live.
Hey friends, thanks for staying up with us just a bit later tonight. Don't go to bed just yet. We've got a whole lot of hoops happening today. The Utes, Cougars, and Aggies all in action, including the rivalry renewed in women's hoops between BYU and Utah. A pair of Utah's pros were on the receiving end of some big blows this week. More on Clayton Keller's black eye and Diego Luna's broken nose and what they still did in their games, and the latest with the Utah Hockey Club coming up. But we'll start with the Utah Jazz, a team that has been putting on an absolute masterclass at how to be competitive, develop young talent, and still lose games in order to ensure the best possible odds at the number one pick in the NBA draft. It's all part of the rebuilding process, right? The Jazz currently holding down the second worst record in the NBA tonight on the road against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies on a 5-game win streak. Again, the Jazz youth showing signs of growth here. Kyle Filipowski connecting on the three-pointer. He made 2 in the first quarter. The Jazz are down by 2. Under 2 minutes to play in that quarter. Drew Eubanks rising up for the alley-oop. It's 35-31. Jazz trailing after the first. Now, in the second, things get a bit spicy here. Ja Morant and Keontae George, they have a little disagreement that leads to a bit of pushing and shoving. Drew Eubanks even got in there for a little bit. Excuse me, they'd call a double technical on those two teams, give the ball to Memphis out of bounds, and Ja Morant immediately takes the ball to the rack, throws one down on Eubanks. But the tempers, they have not cooled all the way just yet. Eubanks rams into Zach Edey. After reviewing the video, Eubanks was given a flagrant 2 foul and was ejected from the game. The Jazz trailed 65-57 at half. In the second half, starts off with Ja Morant going on a hot streak. He's going to hit back-to-back three-pointers. It's a 10-3 Grizzlies run for a 15-point lead. Then on the flip side, the Jazz were ice cold. Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, Keontae George. Those three, they couldn't make any threes. A combined 0 for 20 from three-point range through the first 3 quarters. Jazz down by 27 points to start the fourth quarter. Final 2 minutes of the game, well, they finally start to hit some threes. Lowry from straight away. And then Colin Sexton hits his first of the game, but that was it, only those two. Sexton led the Jazz with 20 points. Jaren Jackson Jr. led Memphis with 28. Ja had 11 points, 7 assists, and the Jazz, they lose for the 5th time in a row, 125-103. All right, only one team in the entire country has a better record in college basketball this season than Utah State's 17-2 record. That's the Auburn Tigers, who are now 18-1 after today's win. The 17 wins by new head coach Jared Calhoun, that's the most in the country by a first-year head coach as well. Today, Utah State going for its 8th conference win in Colorado Springs against the Air Force Falcons. Ian Martinez picking up right where he left off against Nevada, hitting the 3. He made 3 in the first half. Then the Aggies on the fast break. Mason Falsleff lobs it up to Drake Allen for the alley-oop. Utah State's up by 6. Isaac Johnson had his best game of the season. Hits that wing three-pointer. Moments later, Johnson again, this time off the glass. Utah State made 10 threes in the half. They're up 42-33 at halftime. In the second half, Utah State gets 3 the old way. Abin Gadaretse down the lane with the hammer and the foul. Utah State's up 63-47. Johnson continues to dial up threes. He made 4, finished with 12 points. Ian Martinez led Utah State with 16 points. The alley-oop for the exclamation point there. The Aggies have improved to 18-2 on the season. 87-58, the blowout at Clune Arena. Mason Falsleff was a stat stuffer. 11 points, 8 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals. Utah State back home Wednesday to host UNLV. That'll be a big one. Right, you'll often hear us referring to the net rankings a lot this season. That's because those are the metrics-based rating system that's primarily used for determining NCAA tournament seeding. You play teams throughout the year from 4 different quadrants. You have quad 1 opponents, which are the best and most valuable in the rankings to play against. BYU, they're 43rd in the net. Cincinnati, 41st. They're 2 of only 3 teams in the top 43 that have yet to beat a quad 1 opponent so far this season. Tonight, they're going head-to-head in Provo. This one close right out of the gates. Richie Saunders on the inbounds pass for 3. BYU takes the 12-10 lead. A bit later, Cannon Catchings He's going to hit BYU's third three of the game. The Cougars are up 21-14 at that point. Now, do you remember Aziz Bandago, the former Utah Valley Wolverine? He's now scoring buckets for Cincinnati. The alley-oop, cutting BYU's lead down to 3 after he rocks the rim there. Then in the final seconds of the half, cue Yegor Deming.
Yegor Deming pulls up for 3. Got it.
That 3 leads BYU into the half with the lead at 28-23. Now in the second half, it begins just how the first half ended, with another Yegor Deming three-pointer. And BYU's up by 8. They were just warming up. Richie Saunders was lights out. This 3 to go up 34-26. He got a little bounce, friendly bounce there. Then Saunders from downtown again. The lead is up to 12. Now it wasn't all threes for the Cougars. Deming with the lob to Kebakeda. He rocks the rim on that alley-oop. All right. Let's go back to the shooting contest, okay? Trevin Nell, he drained a pair of threes. Saunders led BYU with 5 3-pointers made. He finished with 20 points. BYU's up by 18. Cannon Catchings, he was 3 for 4 from downtown. Cue up this one to go up by 19, 63-44. And Deming wasn't done either. He made 3 of 5 three-pointers, finished with 15 points. BYU made 62% of their three-point shots tonight, 15 of 24. BYU outscored Cincinnati 52-29 in the second half, and they improved to 4-4 in conference play with the 80-52 win. All right, the Running Utes hosting the 12-6 Baylor Bears. Utah off to a hot start in this one. Gabe Madsen drains his first 3 early in the game. A few minutes later, Ezra Ausar cleared for takeoff. Big two-handed slam. Utah took an early 11-2 lead in the game. Baylor makes the comeback. VJ Edgecombe to Josh Ojianua. Alley-oop. Baylor would be up as much as 16 into the half. Mason Madsen, he would drain a pair of three-pointers to cut into Baylor's lead. Bears led 38-31 at the half. In the second half, the Utes keeping it close. Jake Whalen's going to cut and dunk. Right there, Baylor leads, though, 43-35. A little later, Lawson Lovering trying to cut into the lead a bit more. He gets the dunk underneath, but the Utes just did not have the comeback in them today. Ausar led Utah with 19 points, 7 rebounds. Miro Little had 12 points, 7 assists off the bench, but Baylor had 2 players go for 20-plus. Utah loses 76-61 on just 21% shooting from three-point range.
At the end of the day, we got to make teams pay. We had a lot of open looks, a lot of them. We got to be able to shoot the 3 better. 5 for 28, but we got to rebound. You know. And when you play these guys, they're the #1 offensive rebounding team in the Big 12, and they had 15 offensive rebounds, which equated to almost half of their. They got .46 offensive boards, meaning. Basically for every 2 shots, they got 1 rebound. Not quite, but close, and that's a problem.
Utah's Gianna Neepkins may be the best women's basketball player in our state. Her season was cut short after just 8 games last year when she was hurt against BYU. This season, she's back with a vengeance, averaging 22 points over the last 4 games, and today the rematch with BYU. BYU out of the gates hot, too. They held Utah to 15 first-quarter points. Amari Whiting gets the steal, gets it to Lauren Davenport, who goes ahead to Delaney Gibb to close out the first with a 6-point lead. Now in the second quarter, Gibb with a great pass to Brittany Cannon. And one. BYU's lead built to 10. Utah answers with 11 straight points, though 6 from Gianna Neepkins, a pair of three-pointers. In the final seconds of the half, Neepkins then with the layup with 7 seconds remaining. Utah led by 2 at the break. In the third quarter, May Torrey and Neepkins, they came out with back-to-back three-pointers. Neepkins was just on fire from downtown. She made 6 of 7 from beyond the arc. Utes led by as many as 6, but the Cougars kept climbing back in, led by Gibb. Great kick out to Kemry Congdon for the 3. Then Gibb, she scored 6 straight for the Cougars, capped off by the reverse layup. What a player Gibb is going to be. She already is a great one. It was a 1-point game heading into the 4th. Shot clock winding down. Mad dash for the ball. Ends up in Whiting's hands. She beats the shot clock with the 3. Still a 1-point game. Torrey gets the shooter's bounce on her shot there. A 4-point lead for Utah. Then Neepkins She had a career-high 32 points in this game, puts the Utes up 7 with the triple. Gibb made it interesting late. This three cuts the lead to 3 with under a minute to play. The Utes would make their free throws down the stretch, though, and Utah improves to 6-3 in the Big 12, while BYU falls to 1-7. Maya Torrey had 21 for Utah. The Utes shot 55% from 3. Whiting finished with 12 points, 3 assists, and 3 steals, and Kemry Congdon had 12 for the Cougars. All right, the Utah Valley men's basketball team has one of the nation's longest win streaks. How good is it? And did they add another one to it? We'll let you know coming up.
She gets going with 5.
The hesitation straight to the
for
rim.
the pair.
Wow.
And Southern Utah,
Wow.
a stunner.
What a game. Southern Utah was 0 for 8 on the road this season until that buzzer beater right there. Dailani Baena, the game winner against Cal Baptist for the SUU women. She had 20 points in SUU's 4th win of the season. Way to go, ladies. All right, only 5 teams in the entire country have a longer win streak than the Utah Valley Wolverines do right now in men's basketball. They've won at the buzzer, they've won in blowouts during that streak, and tonight they're looking to make it 10 wins in a row. Utah Valley on the road against Seattle. First half here, Dominic Nelson gets out in front, and he's going to get the dunk. 16 points in the game for him. It was all tied up at 29 at halftime. In the second half, Carter Welling took over, pulls up for 3. Next time down the floor, Welling down the lane for the deuce. Then on the next possession, how about another 3 from Welling? 8 straight points scored by him. His biggest bucket of the game, though, came with 40 seconds left. The lead was down to 2, and he gets that shot to drop. Welling with 24 points and make it 10 straight wins for Utah Valley with the 70-66 win over Seattle. Weber State was looking for its second conference win of the season, taking on Sacramento State. Wildcats get the scoring started. Alex Tu rocking the rim for 2. Trevor Henning from way downtown. 11 triples total for Weber in this game. The star tonight was Blaze 3. 26 points on 9 of 14 shooting, 2 of 3 from three-point range. He also had 7 assists, feeding 2 there for another slam. And guess what? Weber wins 87-81. They start a 4-game homestand on Thursday. Maybe put together a little win streak here. All right, let's hit the ice. Maple Leafs and Senators in the NHL. First period, Mitch Marner out to Bobby McCann, and Toronto's up 1-0. Later in the first period, Tim Stoltz, the slap shot, ties the game up at 1. Woo, what a shot. Third period, Senators break the tie. The puck actually comes off the knee of Shane Pinto right over the shoulder of the goalie. That counts. Senators get the win 2-1. Well, after Utah Hockey Club's big win on Thursday night in Minnesota, the captain Clayton Keller told ESPN that Utah fans have been second to none, packing Delta Center for every game, even through the ugly stretches that they've had. And he had the fans' full support on Monday in Utah's win over Winnipeg. He took a deflected puck to the eye, which required him to leave the game for a bit and get 12 stitches. Still, he returned to the game, and just as you'd expect from a team captain, he helped deliver the win. 40 seconds after getting back on the ice, he assisted on the team's first goal, and then he scored a goal late in the game in Utah's 5-2 win.
It's a hockey player, eh?
And he shoots. And that one up high caught Keller.
They're just coming back without his station, without the doubt in his head. That was great.
And for him to bounce back like that was huge for us and our momentum. And obviously you heard the crowd's reaction. It meant a lot to them too.
Super cool. I think anyone else on this team would have came back as well. So it's great to hear that from the crowd. It's nice to get some wins here at home before we go on the road.
If you thought Clayton Keller's eye looked pretty gnarly there, check out Diego Luna. The RSL star was called up and started for the U.S. men's national team on Wednesday night against Costa Rica. In the 17th minute, Luna was elbowed in the face, and this is the outcome: a bloodied up, cut up, broken nose. He came off the field for a couple of minutes just to get the nose attended to and stop bleeding, and then almost immediately after returning, he leads this break down the field and assists on the U.S.'s opening goal in a 3-0 win. Luna, he's already a USMNT legend. All right, upsets and wild finish. We'll recap some of the best from college basketball when we return. Excited for that game. Let's head back to college basketball tonight. Top 25 matchup between Houston and Kansas. Straight to the end of overtime. Crazy finish. Houston down 6. Emmanuel Sharp, the deep three. So there's 8 seconds left now. Houston needs a steal, and they get it. Wilson, the game-tying triple. We're going to double OT. A little over a minute left here. Kansas down 5, looking for their own miracle. Zeke Mayo, the steal and the layup and the foul. They cut it to 2. But that's where it ends. It wouldn't be enough. Houston with 4 players in double figures. They get the win on the road. Big time win for Houston. Mark Pope and the number 9 Kentucky Wildcats visiting Vanderbilt. First half, Vandy with the steal. The nice pass ahead to Jalen Carey. He's going to throw it down. Vanderbilt up 4 court. Well deserved in that game. Number 13, Texas A&M in Texas. First half, all Aggies. Manny Obaseki, the drive and a former Utah State player with a dominant day in the G League. We'll show you that next. G League, former Utah State Aggie guard Darius Brown had a pretty nice resume builder with the Cleveland Charge of the G League. Brown made 11 of 14 shots, 79% shooting for 33 points in 41 minutes played and a 122-110 win. Brown was lights out from three-point range, making 8 of 10. He added 7 assists and 2 steals in that win. All right, and then how about this? This was during a timeout tonight down in Provo. A fan, the half-court shot worth $10,000. Got it! That is suddenly the most popular, if she's a student, the most popular student on campus now. Way to go, 10 grand in the bank. We'll see you back here tomorrow night, 10:45.